Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Robert Ballard. I'm the Science and Operations Officer here at the Central Pacific Hurricane Center. Continues to be very busy here, as I'm sure you can imagine, with Hurricane Douglas closing in quickly on the main Hawaiian Islands this morning. At 5 a.m., I do want to note right off the bat that a hurricane warning was issued for Maui County. This upgrades the hurricane watch that was in effect for Maui County. And so now with the 5 a.m. advisory, you have a hurricane warning that is in effect for Kauai, Ni'ihau, Oahu, Maui, Molokai, Lanai, and Kaho'olawe. The Big Island is under a tropical storm warning. At 5 o'clock this morning, Hurricane Douglas, with winds of 90 miles per hour, was located about 145 miles east of Kahului and about 235 miles east of Honolulu, Hawaii. It is moving toward the west-northwest at 16 miles per hour. On the forecast track, the center of Douglas will pass very close to or over portions of the smaller islands from Maui to Kauai today and tonight. I already mentioned maximum sustained winds are near 90 miles per hour, and that does not include higher gusts. The hurricane force winds extend outward from the center up to about 30 miles, and tropical storm force winds extend outward from the center about 105 miles. I want to talk a little bit about timing. The tropical storm conditions and possible hurricane conditions should reach Maui County here this morning, and they will persist depending on how far east or west you are until late Sunday night or Monday morning. Here on Oahu, we can expect tropical storm force winds arriving possibly as early afternoon, say 1 or 2 o'clock. And then once they settle in, we should see damaging winds continue until early on Monday. And for Kauai, the timing looks like this. Sunday evening, we should see the tropical storm conditions arrive sometime after the early evening, and those will persist until possibly as late Monday or possibly into early Tuesday. So we talk about tropical storms being a triple threat, tropical storms and hurricanes being a triple threat. We do have all three of those threats associated with Douglas. We do expect hurricane conditions across portions of Maui County, again during the day today, on Oahu in some areas by this afternoon, and on Kauai and Ni'ihau tonight. Tropical storm conditions imminent across the Big Island, especially the northern portions of the Big Island. And due to the steep terrain of the islands, hurricane force gusts are possible even outside the hurricane warning area. So we want to note that we know that from past hurricanes and tropical systems near the islands that we do get a lot of downslope acceleration and very strong winds. So be aware of that. We're going to continue to see very large surf associated with Douglas, and I will get the details on that. Hurricane Douglas will bring surf along east-facing shores of 15 to 25 feet and could build as high as 10 to 15 feet along north-facing shores, especially as Douglas approaches. On top of that, we would expect that there would be some tropical cyclone storm surge. So in addition to 15 to 25 foot waves on the east sides, the combination of higher than predicted water levels, the storm surge coming in, and large breaking waves could raise water levels by as much as 3 feet above normal tides near where the center of Douglas passes during the day today. So you need to factor that into your planning if you're on the east sides. Rainfall could be heavy with Douglas as it comes through, especially a quick burst in a relatively short amount of time. 5 to 10 inches we're still expecting, with possible maximum amounts of 15 inches, especially in the higher terrain. And of course, all of that water will quickly make its way into creeks and streams and wash its way down to the shore. So you need to be aware of the threat for life-threatening and potentially destructive flash flooding today. For the Big Island, we do expect lesser rainfall amounts as they will be south of the track of Douglas. And so an additional 2 to 4 inches of rainfall, mainly over the northern half of the island, is possible there. I think that's about all I have in terms of the 5 a.m. advisory. And we are here for any questions if anybody has any.
Good morning, Bob. This is Ashley. Currently, I don't see any questions in the question bank, but based on an email that I received, would you be able to just go back to the first 2 minutes and just recap the main headers that you provided for the hurricane up front? We had several folks that joined late and missed the first 2 minutes, just to provide a recap of the main headers.
Sure, we can do that. And then I will also give folks a website where they can get local details for their islands from the National Weather Service here. So I'll do that after, but first we'll do a quick recap. As you said, Hurricane Douglas continues to close in on us fairly quickly this morning. It's located only about 145 miles to the east of Kahului on Maui and about 235 miles east of Honolulu, Hawaii. We can already get a pretty good sense for where the center is on radar imagery, and so we will be using aircraft reconnaissance thanks to the Air Force Reserve hurricane hunters who have been helping us track Douglas the last few days. And we, again, will now also rely on radar to help us keep an eye on where the center is, as well as satellite, of course. The big changes with this advisory was that the hurricane watch for Maui County and tropical storm warning has been changed, and now Maui County, including Maui, Molokai, Lanai, and Kaho'olawe, are all under a hurricane warning. The hurricane watch for Hawaii County was canceled, and a tropical storm watch also was issued for portions of the northwest Hawaiian Islands, portions of the Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument. That includes areas from French Frigate Shoals out to Morrow Reef. So locally, that sums up the current headlines in terms of tropical. I will also quickly mention that there is a flash flood watch, which is in effect. And that flash flood watch covers Kauai, Ni'ihau, and Oahu from 6 a.m. this morning through Monday afternoon. The flash flood watch for Maui, Molokai, Lanai, Kaho'olawe, and the Big Island is in effect now, and it continues through Monday afternoon. I think that covers the high points. Was there anything else there, Ash, that you wanted me to repeat?
Yes, sir, Bob. We picked up one question here while you were doing the recap. What has changed for Maui County, and provide a little bit of the vulnerability for the remaining islands considering the updated track?
Well, there's not a lot of substantive change in terms of what we're expecting in terms of Douglas's behavior. We still expect Douglas to come through the islands at near hurricane strength as it moves through, and that closest approach to Maui County, Oahu, and Kauai necessitates a hurricane warning. We would especially expect those conditions to be most severe where you have the winds blowing downslope from mountains. And that's going to shift with time. So as Douglas approaches, our winds will be from the north, and then the winds will shift to be from the west, And then after Douglas passes, once the center goes past the island, we will see winds come out of the south and then finally out of the southeast. So the acceleration zones near the mountains are going to change with time, and that's going to make it really tricky. And it also means that many areas are vulnerable to destructive winds as the system passes by. If you haven't, pretty much for Maui County, your time to prepare is just about over. For Oahu, you have a little bit more time. If you have some last minute preparations you need to get done this morning, go ahead and do them. But I would say that by noon or early afternoon, plan on the weather going downhill pretty quickly. And then again, for Kauai, you still have a little bit more time with daytime today being relatively quiet ahead of Douglas, and then conditions getting more serious after dark this evening. So have everything ready. Any last minute preparations you need to rush to completion, do so today on the Garden Isle. Anything else, Ash?
No, Bob. You actually answered the second question that was asked. Let me just check the operations account to see if there were any questions that came in here in the last 10 minutes via the operations account. There are no additional questions that came into the ops account since about 4:50.
I do see a question. I believe that's from, I can't read the whole name. I think that might be Wendy. What extra recommendations would you make to the public?
Yeah, I think you sort of covered that one for Maui, but if you want to go expand a little bit, go ahead.
Yeah, in terms of if you have loose outdoor objects or things on your lanai, it's time to bring those in. Bring those inside, secure them. Just make sure that they're not going to get picked up and be blown debris. The other thing to consider is you may want to unplug sensitive electronic devices to make sure that you don't get damage to your sensitive electronics. Once the tropical storm force winds begin, we urge everyone to remain indoors. Do not go outside. Do not try to engage in repairs or things like that. It's really safest to stay inside. The winds in a tropical storm can be very unpredictable. They can be very gusty. They can be very sudden, and we don't want folks getting hurt trying to venture out and see what's going on. It's best to just stay put and stay away. When the worst of the winds arrive, you need to stay away from windows. You may need to find your way to an interior room if possible, as Douglas makes its point of closest approach. Another thing you may want to consider at this point is if you're in an area where you think you may lose power, you may want to fill buckets of water, have water on hand that you can use for, say, flushing toilets, or if you have containers for drinking water, you can store some water like that. That would be another suggestion I would have at this point. Anything else, Ash?
Bob, that was the final question. It's in the question blocks. And there's nothing that's come in via email. So I think that does it for this morning.
Okay.
Did you want to just give a quick website?
Oh, that's right. Thank you for reminding me. If you go to our webpage, weather.gov Hawaii, you will see a couple links below the watch warning map that may be useful. There is the formatted hurricane local statement for Hawaii, which provides a general overview of what's going on and some other precautionary recommendations, generically speaking. And then if you need local details, you can click the link that says formatted, there you go. believe it said formatted local details, formatted tropical hazards, sorry, formatted tropical hazards for Hawaii. If you click that link, you will see a map that you can click that has different sections of each island. And if you click those individual sections, you can get specific details on weather conditions expected down to that area. So it'll give you some idea of timing and what weather conditions we expect for different segments of the island. And that's for folks that really need specific details about where they are in terms of what the hazards are going to be in their individual locations. You can also get to that tropical watch warning details page by going to weather.gov/HFO, and that's all lowercase, and then /TCV. That's Tango Charlie Victor. So weather.gov/HFO/TCV to get your local details as Douglas is coming through. Okay, anything else?
That's it, Bob. Thank you for the update.
The winds are already beginning to pick up a little bit on Maui. We're seeing gusts over 35 miles per hour, so we will get back to it. And we will have another press conference at 11 a.m. Everyone stay safe.